Yo, yo, yo. This week on episode 93 of the X-Factor Sportz Podcast, we got All-Star Smoke. We talk about Major League Baseball's All-Star game yesterday and Home Run Derby. And we get into the WNBA All-Star game that's happening this weekend. And then lastly, we're going to grade some of these NBA contracts this offseason. So keep it locked right here. The X-Factor Sportz Podcast, episode 93 starts right now. Yo, yo, this episode of the X-Factor Sportz Podcast, we are live on YouTube, we are live on Facebook, and we're live on TikTok. So be sure to tune in and tap in on TikTok tonight. This is Jay Mundane, your host of the X-Factor Sportz Podcast. Real talk, unbiased takes. We are in season 8, episode 9. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to start with the layup lines like we always do. And we're going to go over some things that happened over the weekend and also some updated current events with the NFL. So starting with that, the NFL, we got some contracts that's been signed, some big time deals. Every time somebody signs a contract, they got the biggest deal in history for their position, right? So Trey Smith from the Chiefs, he signed a 4-year, $94 million deal. Biggest contract for any interior lineman in NFL history. I'm sure Patrick Mahomes is happy as hell to see that. Woke up this morning smiling because during this dynastic run, what they've been running into in these Super Bowls is that offensive line has just been getting mauled by everybody. Everybody they lost to, Tampa Bay and last year's Eagles. And then on top of that, they lose Joe Thuney to the Bears. So I think this is a smart move by the Chiefs. You keep Trey Smith, up and coming all-pro lineman to protect Patrick Mahomes. So shout out to the Chiefs and Trey Smith getting that deal done. Then the last two deals I'm going to talk about in quick news are from the Jets, believe it or not. On the offensive side and defensive side, they're trying to shore both things up. Sauce Garner is regarded as one of the best cornerbacks in football, and he signed a 4-year, $120 million deal. And then Garrett Wilson on the other side of the ball signed a 4-year, $130. Now, both of those contracts I feel are warranted, but you just never know. In the NFL, like there's a lot of these positions that get filled up and you can kind of plug pieces around them. You look at the Chiefs, for example, I just talked about them. They've been going to Super Bowls for the last 5 years and they kind of plug and play these wide receivers. They don't really pay them much. They've been more successful without a max receiver like a Tyreek Hill. But I was reading something, and I'm a sports nerd, so I read stuff all the time about sports. But I was reading this thing about Bill Parcells, what he used to do back in the day. And he used to build his teams based on the opposite of what was coming out of college. Meaning, in this day and age, wide receivers are coming out every year, right? Top tier wide receivers. So what Bill Parcells would do is in a situation like this, he would get defensive players as veterans, right? He would sign those guys and keep his defense paid with veteran leadership and experience. And then he would draft the incoming talent, i.e. wide receivers, because you don't have to pay them. They're on rookie deals. You can sprinkle them around, kind of the Andy Reid model. He might have got it from him. But I was reading that and thought that was really interesting because a lot is happening this time where we have wide receivers just coming into the NFL every year. You're getting top tier wide receivers and now running backs even. LSU is cranking out wide receivers, Ohio State, West Coast teams. So why pay a premium for wide receivers when you get new ones every year instead of shoring up the defense? So time will tell. Aaron Glenn, the new coach with the Jets, defensive guy, and he wanted to lock up his number one corner and his number one wideout, and they did that. So congrats to them. All right. Also in quick news, tennis. I'll be real quick about this. Wimbledon was over the weekend. Last week, if you watch episode 92, I had a prediction of who I thought was going to win on the men's and women's side. I was wrong on both. All right. Here we do real talk, unbiased takes, if you're not familiar with how we do. So I hold myself accountable as well. Right. So I picked Carlos Alcaraz to win on the men's side, and I picked Sabalenka to win on the women's side. Sabalenka didn't even make it to the final. All right. Number one in the world, Iga Swiatek, she ended up winning, dominated Amanda Anisimova in 2 straight sets. So she won that. She's world number one for a reason. I was looking for an upset. On the men's side, Carlos Alcaraz used to be world number one. Jarek Sinner has came out of nowhere, seemingly, and starting to dominate, winning majors, won his first Wimbledon major over the weekend against Carlos Alcaraz in 4 sets. Now, this is going to become, I think this has the makings of a rivalry, our next tennis rivalry, right? I grew up with the Andre Agassi, Pete Sampras rivalry in the 90s. I was an adult during the Roger Federer reign over the 2000 decade. And then you had Rafa Nadal come in, and that was kind of a rivalry. Then you had the Novak Djokovic and the Rafa Nadal rivalry on the tail end, right? So I feel like this is the next iteration of men's tennis. It's great to see they're young guys. They play in all the majors and they play well. They always get to at least a semifinal. So more to come on that. So congrats to the 2 winners over the weekend, even though I got them wrong. All right. So that's what we got for the quick news. Again, we are live. We are on TikTok. See people joining in. You can always comment as well. So we got y'all in the chat. We will pop your comments up on the screen. We are live on YouTube and Rumble also. All right. So let's get into Major League Baseball. Okay. Monday, we had the home run derby. Last night, we had the All-Star game and made history with both. So I'm going to just give my takes on it, where my predictions were. I'm taking some L's today, y'all. So I got to call it like I see it. When I'm right, I'll let y'all know I'm right. So when I'm wrong, I got to let y'all know I'm wrong too. All right. So when it came to the home run derby on Monday night, so history was made there. Now, I actually got this right seemingly by default. And I say that because I had Kyle Raleigh versus Ron Acuna in the final, because I thought Ron Acuna was going to be in the All-Star game. He didn't make it, or he didn't participate. So Kyle Raleigh won it. He looks like Aaron Judge to me, if y'all seen the stature of this guy. And he's a heavy hitter. So congrats to him. Actually went up against Junior Caminero in the final. Junior Caminero was almost the youngest player to win the home run derby at 22 years old, just turned 22 last week. But Kyle Raleigh put on a show. They actually met up in the final. Both hit 15 home runs. Kyle Raleigh had the bonus round and hit 3 more to win it, 18-15. In that final round, though, he did some historic stuff. He hit 6 straight home runs. If y'all didn't watch it, he knocked 3 out the park. Then he took his little break. They give you a little rest in between if you need it, a little timeout. And then he cracked 3 more after that. So when you're hot, you're hot. So it was a special night for him. His family was literally on the field. His dad was pitching, and his brother was the back catcher. So it was probably feeling like the backyard for Kyle Raleigh. So shout out to him. I think he's the next big star in Major League Baseball. He showed out on Monday night and ended up winning. So his longest home run of the night, 464 feet. And with Junior Caminero, like I said, young boy, he had 44 total home runs throughout the home run derby. So he went crazy too. His furthest one was 469. So just showing love to both of them, but Kyle Raleigh actually won the home run derby. One of the picks I actually got right. All right. And then we get to the All-Star game on Tuesday. Hopefully everybody watched it. Hopefully you've seen it on social media or watched it on YouTube or saw highlights of it by now, because history was made. It was a crazy game. I told y'all how much I love that Truist Park in Atlanta. I've been to that stadium, been to the games. before I even break down the game, what they did for Hank Aaron was amazing. All right. 715 home runs. He hit his 715th home run in Atlanta and yesterday was 715. So that was symbolic. Obviously, that was his home field, his hometown. They did a hologram presentation of his 715th home run. And the reason that was so significant is because he passed Babe Ruth for all-time home run hitters on this hit. The way they set up the field, they had the hologram out. They replayed the entire call. When they simulated the home run, it was like fireworks that went out to left center field where he hit the home run. It was just dope. The way Atlanta did that, it was amazing to watch on television. It was super dope. So congrats to that, to the Hank Aaron family, to the Atlanta Braves for pulling that off. They made it look so good on TV. I can't imagine how it looked in person, but it was dope. So for the game itself, though, again, we had American League, the AL versus the NL, but I took an L because I picked the American League to win, and they almost got literally blown off the field, ran off the field. All right. So if you didn't watch the game, we'll break it down. The National League was up 6-0. They started out dominating. I think they started out with a 2-run home run or RBI. Of course, Shohei Ohtani got on base and probably got an RBI early in the game. And then before you know it, it's 6-0. Okay. The National League took over. Pitching was killing us. And then the 7th inning comes and Rooker starts going to work for the A's, right? He hit a 3-run shot. So we knew we weren't getting shut out. So at least I'm watching this game. I'm like, at least we don't get shut out. So that's dope. All right. We got guests trying to come in. So I'm going to go ahead and invite them in on the TikTok side. Bam, you should be in there. All right. So after Rooker hits the 3-run home run, it's 6-3 in the 7th inning. And then Bobby Witt Jr. in the 9th, he hit a 2-run double. And then they end up tying it up. So it's 6-6. Game is seemingly over. But then shout out to Rob Manfred and Major League Baseball for how cool they did overtime or extra innings. This was brand new. People didn't even know the rules. They had to tell the managers the rules of what they did. So basically what happens in the All-Star game, when the score is tied after the bottom of the 9th, they did a swing off. And so the American League and the National League managers, you got to pick 3 hitters. And all 3 of those hitters got 3 swings apiece. And they alternated like you do innings. So the American League went first. Or the American League went first. And so the way they did it, they went back and forth. Actually, the American League went last. They went second because they had the last at bat. So the way they did that is you get 3 swings, and then the American League got 3 swings, and they did it for basically 3 rounds. And so Rooker, again, the guy that hit the 3-run home run, he came out, cranked 2 out of his 3 hits out the park. The American League is up 2-1. It gets to Kyle Schwarber, right, for the Phillies. He's in the 2nd round, crushes all 3 of his home runs. One of them he cracked and landed on his knees and he got out the park. But it was just amazing to watch on TV. National League took the lead by 1, 4-3. Then we get to the last hitter from the Rays, and he hit one to the wall, but the wall is so high in right field, it didn't get over. And that's how the National League beat the American League in a swing off. But it was fun to see. The American League came back, made it a game, and then we got the first ever swing off in All-Star game history. It was such a fun game to watch. I hadn't had that much fun watching a Major League Baseball All-Star game since the one I went to back in 2012, I think it was, in Kansas City. So it was dope. So glad I was able to check that out. So y'all comment below. Let me know what you think. Did you like the way the All-Star game went? Did you like how they did the swing off? And should they keep that going for next year? Because I thought it was dope. So be sure to comment below. All right. Again, the X-Factor Sportz Podcast. We are live. We are on YouTube. We are on TikTok tonight. We are on Facebook tonight. So be sure to like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Check us out on the X-Factor Sportz Podcast every Wednesday night. Okay. Now that we got that off the chest, again, I took my L's in baseball, got one right, got the tennis thing wrong. We're going to get into the WNBA All-Star game, and that's this weekend on the 19th on Saturday night. And I got some predictions there too, so we're going to get into that. Now, the way they did the picks this year was reminiscent of what the NBA used to do when they used to almost do it like pickup game style. It'd be like Team Steph versus Team LeBron, right? They did Team Collier, Nafisha Collier from the Minnesota Lynx against Team Caitlin Clark from the Indiana Fever. So the way I broke it down is who I think is going to win this game and why. Now, just so I don't even leave y'all in suspense, I think Team Collier wins this game. And I was on the fence about it, but Caitlin Clark just pulled her groin again the other night. I don't even know if she'll be able to play in this game. I wouldn't play if I was her. This is a re-aggravated groin injury that she has. She missed 5 games already. And because of this injury, and then she just hurt it the other day. So I think she sits down. But I got Team Nafisha Collier winning. And it was really a clash of offense and defense. Like, you got shooters over on Caitlin's side, especially with Sabrina Ionescu. They was just going to be shooting, firing on all cylinders against tough defense, rebounding with Stewie, Angel Reese coming off the bench, Alicia Gray starting over on Nafisha Collier's team. So without the threat or the dual threat of a Caitlin Clark with Sabrina Ionescu, I got to go with Team Nafisha Collier over there. I think they win the game. Again, the toughness, you got Breanna Stewart over there. She will match up well with Aja Wilson. And then I think Nafisha Collier, this is her year. All right, the Minnesota Lynx, they got the best record in basketball. She is out to prove she's one of the best players, if not the best player in the world this season. They're probably going to win a championship. I think she's going to be playing, trying to get this MVP. I'm going to go ahead and say she wins the MVP of the game and her team wins. But my X factor in this game actually is a rookie. So y'all got to pay attention. Paige Beckers. All right. She's a rookie and she's starting on Nafisha Collier's team. I think she's the X factor. I think she comes out and plays well. She gets everybody involved. I see her having a couple of nice moments in the game. She may be one of the reasons they win the game, but I think overall Nafisha Collier wants to show the world that she is a star amongst stars and that her team is going to win this matchup head to head. So I'm going with her to win. I'm picking her team. So we'll say Nafisha Collier team beats Caitlin Clark's team in Indiana nonetheless. That's where the All-Star game is. But again, no Caitlin Clark. I think they lose that game. So y'all let me know what y'all think about that when it comes to the All-Stars. Who wins the All-Star matchup? Okay? Now, before we get into the next topic, again, this is a show. We are live again on Wednesdays, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. Appreciate all y'all for tuning in tonight. Every week you can check out the X-Factor Sportz Podcast. Okay? So you don't have to wait until we're on live. You can always go on to YouTube, subscribe to the show, and you can get all the other 92 episodes as well for the X-Factor Sportz Podcast. And you can follow on social media. We're on all social media platforms. Anywhere you want to listen to the X-Factor Sportz Podcast, if you have Spotify, if you got iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, you can find the X-Factor Sportz Podcast there too. All right? Now, for the NBA, we're going to go ahead and get into these contracts, okay? We saw some big deals get signed this summer. Some are deserving, some I don't think so. But y'all let me know in the comments what you think if these contracts are warranted. But we're going to dive into a few of them here, all right? So the first one I'm going to start with is Devin Booker, okay? He signed a 2-year, $145 million contract with the Phoenix Suns. So there's a couple reasons that he signed this deal, and I understand why. He's basically saying he's a lifer for Phoenix, okay? He's going to be a lifer there. So that's why I think he's going to sign this deal. Obviously, Bradley Beal just got bought out today. He might end up joining the Clippers. Then you got Kevin Durant has already left. They tried the big three thing. They tried the super team thing. It didn't work. Booker's comfortable in Phoenix, so he stays. So they paid him the money. If I'm grading this deal, I give this deal like a C, C minus. Okay. Here's the reason why. And it's no slight at Devin Booker at all. Make your money. But if we're talking business, this is a guy who has been an all-NBA player, first team one time in his career. He's been an all-star 3, maybe 4 times in his career. He's never been the best guy at his position. But he's about to make $70 million a year. Okay. Way out of proportion for his production. I understand this is the way the league is going, but I give this a C minus. It's only 2 years, so it really doesn't hurt your franchise as much. That's why I didn't give it a D or an F. But it's not an A or B either, because his production and what he's brought to the table compared to the dollars that he's making, $70 million a year for somebody that is a second, maybe even third tier player, just seems like a lot of money to me. So y'all let me know. As we get through these players, y'all can chime in, like I said, your chats or any comments you got that get up on the screen, and y'all let me know what y'all think. All right. SGA. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for sure. 4 years, $285 million max, super max deal. Again, this is a super max deal because he played 1 year with the Clippers and came over, so he couldn't get the 300 because it's not the team that drafted him. But he gets the next best thing. 4 years, $284 million is crazy. $70 million, but this is a A. I would give this contract an A for both sides. He just came off arguably one of the best seasons in NBA history, and he's 26 years old. Because of his age and because of his durability and because of what he brings to OKC, delivering him a championship, he's an MVP. You have to pay him this money. And the crazy part about this contract is by 2029, 2030, he may be one of the first players to literally make $1 million a game. I never thought I would see the day that a player can make $1 million a game. He can make $80 million a year, right? I was just talking to Miss D the other night. I was like, do you understand what $1 million a game is? We were just talking about the WNBA. The best players in the WNBA, you can combine 7 salaries and they won't add up, annual salaries, and they won't add up to what Shai can probably make per game in the NBA. It's insane. But again, it's a value proposition. What he brings to the table, what he does for the league, what he does for the Oklahoma City Thunder, the TV contract, the NBA just signed a $700 billion, $70 billion contract for the next 10 years or something like that, a ridiculous amount. So the salary cap is going to go up, and so will his contract incrementally. So he deserves it. So I give this an A. They gave it to him early, right? He's only 26 and he's making his money. By the time this contract's up, he'll be 30. He'll be in his prime for sure at 30. So again, Sam Presti doing it again, what he does for the OKC Thunder, always making good deals. Congrats on this one. Next one, Paolo Banchero, Orlando Magic, okay? 5 years, $239 million rookie max extension. And again, he's available for a super max because this is the team that drafted him, but they get it done early. So I'm going to give this one a B, okay? I'll give this contract a B, and here's why. It's not an A because he has some injury history, and $45 million a year from where he is now as a player. I think he's a one-time All-Star, not an All-NBA guy yet. I think this is a good contract. Not great. That's why he doesn't get the A, but I give him a B because it's a good deal on both sides, right? Orlando gets him locked up early. They don't have to pay the $60, $70 million. They got him for 40. And he's a up-and-coming star in the league. Next year, he may be an all-star, all-NBA player. So they give him these dollars before he even is eligible for all NBA money. So I give this a B contract. I think it was good on both sides. Paolo Banchero, 5 years, 139. So that's a good deal for him and for the Orlando Magic. The next one, Jalen Williams. All right, 5 years, 287. Now, like Paolo Banchero, 3rd year, Jalen Williams helped OKC win a title. First, he was all defense and he was all NBA. So he's eligible for these dollars, but I'm going to give this a C, okay? The reason I'm giving it a C is because he had one good year production-wise. It's his first year as an All-Star. He kind of struck by the irons hot. So salute to his agent. You got to give his agent an A. But the deal itself, I'm going to give it a C because in a couple years, they're going to have to let some quality pieces go. They might even have to let some pieces go next season because of this contract, right? I think Jalen Williams, I'm not counting nobody pockets, but for me, an A contract, if they could have did a Paolo Banchero type of deal, right? A 5-year 230 or 5-year even 240, I think would have been good. You got another $40 million to stretch, keep some players, get some vets in, and try to run this thing back. I think $287 million for a 3rd-year guy who made one All-Star team, who had a decent playoff run. I don't know if it's worth it. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. If I am, cool. But as it sits right now, I give this contract a C. But I think they paid him because they know that he would be valuable in the open market next year, and they didn't want it to get to that point, so they probably overpaid early instead of having to overpay later. So that's why I give it it's not a bad deal. I just think it's a right down the middle, average deal. The next one, James Harden. All right. So we got James Harden for 2 years, $81.5 million. This is a D contract, all right, for a lot of reasons, okay? This is a D contract. I don't like this deal at all. I don't think James Harden is worth $40 million anymore. He has not proven to be worth $40 million a year. I think that the Clippers are just holding on because they need star power. They just opened a new arena in Inglewood, and they need insurance just in case you don't get Kawhi Leonard for the whole season. I think that's why they ended up keeping James Harden and paying him this money. But if we're talking about value, all the teams he's been to, all the stops he's made, he's kind of declined as a player. He did make the All-Star team this past year, I believe. So maybe that had something to do with it. But as a declining superstar, $40 million a year just seems like a lot. I think if he would have went out on the open market, I don't know if he would have got any more than that. So I don't think this is a good contract. The only thing that's good about this contract and why I didn't give it a complete F is it's only 2 years, right? And I think that 2nd year is a player option. So he'll probably opt in. Veteran players tend to do that on the latter end of their career. They tend to go into the player option because they know if they go out on the open market that they're probably get as much money as the deal that they previously signed. So this is smart on his end. But the Clippers, they get the grade of a D for making this deal. $40 million for James Harden that hasn't, frankly, delivered you anything, right? Every year he's been there, they've been a 4 or 5 or 6 seed, middle of the pack team. They get to the 2nd round of the playoffs. Even with all of these changes and turnarounds and all these contracts, the Clippers have still not made it to an NBA final or conference final. So that's how I feel about that deal. And then the last deal, Miles Turner. I give this deal an A, okay? The Milwaukee Bucks, the way they got to this deal was kind of shady. The way they had to do Damian Lillard, stretch his money out. I'm glad he still gets his money, and now he's free to go to whatever team. It was kind of shady how they did it. I mean, it's within the rules. I mean, shady just kind of how they did Dame time. But it's actually genius because they opened up to get a Miles Turner and replace a Brook Lopez, and they didn't give him as much money, so you can still keep Giannis or put pieces around him. So this is probably the best deal out of all the ones we've seen. It was strategic. It was forward thinking. You got younger at that position, right? And you got him, honestly, Miles Turner for $20 million a year for a defensive rim protecting center who can stretch the floor and shoot threes. You got him for $20 million in this climate, in this market. So congrats to the Bucks. I still think that was a great move that they made, replacing Brook Lopez really quickly and getting a guy that's familiar with the division and a guy that Giannis doesn't have to play against anymore. And you get a rim protector and a three-point shooter, and you did all that for $20 million. So this deal gets an A+. So y'all let me know what y'all think about these deals. We had the Devin Booker deal. We had the SGA, Paolo Banchero, Jalen Williams, James Harden, and Miles Turner. Let me know what y'all think about these deals. You can always put your comments in on YouTube or on Facebook. Again, be sure to like, share, subscribe. Also, we are live on TikTok tonight as well. Cool? Before we get up out of here, again, I appreciate y'all tuning in to episode 93 of the X-Factor Sportz Podcast. You can listen anywhere where you're allowed to on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any of the airwaves that allow podcasts. You can catch all 93 episodes, all 8 seasons of the X-Factor Sportz Podcast. Before we get out of here, we always do that 2-minute warning. And this week, we're going to talk about being in control. Kind of a segue in from last week's 2-minute warning where we talked about waking up with a positive attitude and holding yourself accountable for that attitude. We're going to talk about being in control. And what I mean by that is either you run your day or your day runs you. All right, Jay, what do you mean by that? Again, when you are starting your day or you're starting your week or whatever goals you have, either you're in control of those things or they're going to control you. A lot of the times when I've personally had bad days, I've let the day get to me, right? A lot of stuff going on at work or a lot of things going on at home or whatever it may be. When I'm not in control of the situation, and this doesn't just have to go for your days, this can go for anything. If you are not in control of the situation is going to control you, right? So don't think about it as not being able to control the uncontrollable. I'm not talking about that. What I'm saying is your inner being, what you can control, obviously, the things that are in your hands or the things that you impact. If you don't impact those things head on, they will impact you, right? So just attacking things, moving full speed ahead. That's what we're talking about when we talk about being in control, right? So it starts with your day, your are whatever projects you're doing, whatever you're trying to get into, just being in control and attacking those things. If you have to write down goals for them, whatever it is, just staying consistent and being in control of the end result, or that end result's going to control you. And that's where anxiety comes in. That's where fear comes in. That's where disbelief comes in. That's where doubt creeps in. Doubt only creeps in when you are not in control of the outcome or you feel like you're not. So keep that in mind. Anytime you got anything going on or anything you're trying to set up, make sure you're in the right headspace and you've got the right feeling to be in control and you can control the outcome. All right. Appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight with the X-Factor Sportz Podcast on YouTube every Wednesday. Today we did a special episode live on Facebook and TikTok. Appreciate y'all for commenting. If you are looking for gear, as you can see, I told y'all the shirts are in, the hats are in. Shout out to my boy D Will. He got his hat the other day, crispy blacks. We got the grays in too. We got the screen printed shirts, new style. Shout out to Snooch Customs for doing that here locally. You can always tap in and get your shirts. Also, the 100th episode is coming. All right, September 17th, we will be live at Bogey's Pub in Leawood, Kansas. All right, I will be there at 6:30. I'll be mingling, shaking hands, doing all the things, taking pictures with people. You know, we got gear for sale. We got raffles, so make sure you come early, get into the raffle. It'll be raffles for gift cards, food for Bogey's Pub, swag, also gift cards for a hat or a free shirt from yours truly. It is at Bogey's Pub, Wednesday night, September 17th, the 100th episode. We are celebrating. All right. And then we're going live after that. All right. So again, if you like the gear, you go ahead and tune in, or you scan that QR code, X-Factor Sportz Podcast. All right. You can go to the X-Factor Sportz store, put your shirt or your size or your color in, or your hat. We got gray and black hats. And you let us know what you think about that. And tune in next week, episode 94. We are back on YouTube. We have to switch up the background. As you can see, we don't got the normal background, but we do our show everywhere. If you are a true X Factor fam, you've tuned in and you've seen me do shows in Thailand. I've done shows in Jamaica. I've done shows all over the world. We don't ever stop. We keep it coming for y'all every week. We got fire. So let everybody know the X Factor Sportz Podcast is here. We are out of here. This is Jay Mondane signing out. Peace.